Deadpool's memory is kinda spotty, but he recently remembered something. Sabertooth may have killed his parents. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is the continuation to our last Deadpool, all new, all different Marvel storyline. Deadpool doesn't have the greatest memory, which could also be from his line of work, but he really wants to know Fool Killer's opinion. Even though they are driving around shooting Hydra agents, Fool Killer tells him that he's not even really a psychiatrist yet, he's only been taking Psychology 101 for a few weeks. Deadpool tells him that he hasn't felt well lately. For example, last night he stayed up all night remembering how Iron Fist said that his face looked like a melted candle. Fool Killer says that maybe he's having a manic event. There have been wild mood swings, and that's when Deadpool gets it. Enough with the blahs, he's just gonna go confront his issues. So, a little while later, Deadpool heads over to Danny Rand's dojo for underprivileged kids. And he tells Iron Fist that his face doesn't look like a melted candle and Kung Fu is stupid. Deadpool then walks out all proud of himself for serving Iron Fist. So who else is in the grudge book? There's the Hand, and even though they're kind of Daredevil's thing, they must have done something wrong because they're in the book. So he begins to slaughter ninjas, and one of them asks how many times does he need to come back and take revenge for something that happened so long ago? Some of them weren't even born at that point. And Deadpool stops and says, wait, I've done this before? The ninja tells him, yeah, every couple of months. They don't even know what they did to have such a grudge with him. You know, the grudge book doesn't say, but whatever it is, you ninjas know what you did. But while he goes back to killing everyone else, Deadpool gets a call from Shikla telling him that he has 15 minutes to get home or she's gonna declare war on him. Deadpool returns home and Shikla tells him that he's never around anymore. He just doesn't do those monstrous things that he used to do anymore. And Deadpool informs her that he'll show her something monstrous. 10 minutes later, two of them are laying in bed, and Deadpool tells her that will shut her up for a while. And Shikla agrees, but before he can leave, Shikla chains him to the bed and tells him that she'll be back. So how does Deadpool break free? By chewing his arm off, and then supergluing it back together. He could have just let it grow back, but the whole baby arm thing is funny only for a few minutes. So who's next in the book? Creed was there. And Deadpool stares at those words in the book. He doesn't know what he did, but he does remember that he was there for something. And while there are some things that he can forgive, not Creed, not Sabertooth. Deadpool goes about his day confronting those that he can't forgive, like the guy who spoiled the Harry Potter book before the book was released, and the doctor who told him that he would help him but selfishly died. But there's something still bothering Deadpool. As he sits at his table flipping through his grudge book, he begins to trace the page after the one that was ripped out. And then Deadpool sees it. Victor Creed called me a sap. Sabertooth must die. Deadpool figures that he'll start where things started to go bad. So he begins looking for any clues that he can find in Butler's medical supplies. When Deadpool enters the building, he hears a voice telling him that he remembers this place too, even though it wasn't that much fun. And that's when Deadpool notices Madcap there, but he's just a hallucination, so whatever. He's done talking. Deadpool makes his way into the bathroom and he begins to search, and he finds a handprint, and he knows who this might have belonged to. He then travels to a strip club that he's told that he can't enter because of how he looks, but that doesn't stop Deadpool from stabbing the bouncer and the soldier and entering anyway. He tells everyone that he's here from Michael, and then a figure appears in the doorway asking, "Who is interrupting?" Yoo-hoo! Deadpool says that it looks like they've been acquainted before, which is good because this is the part where you're going to start from the beginning. Michael explains that Butler used to hire him to bag Deadpool from time to time, stating that Deadpool would never remember. You see, in Deadpool's past, the guy Butler used to send him off to do hits and kill for him. This is back when Deadpool wasn't such a nice guy. But before Michael could go any further, he starts to grab his chest, like he's having a heart attack. He falls to the ground in pain and he passes out, and Deadpool just stares at him. Seriously? Moments later, Deadpool sits in the ambulance that is taking Michael to the hospital, and as he wakes up, Deadpool tells him that he's gonna want to get out a journal and write down everything he knows about Deadpool's hits. Michael tells him that he doesn't remember too much, but there was two of them, and Deadpool interrupts him asking, "Is the other man Sabertooth?" Deadpool begins to head over to Canada where he begins to pick through a safe looking for a form or something, and he asks Jarvis if he can locate Sabertooth for him. Jarvis begins to search and he sees that Sabertooth has been traveling with Eric Magnus in central Canada. Eric Magnus is Magneto and Sabertooth is on his new team. Deadpool tells Jarvis to just send all of the data to his phone, and Jarvis responds with, "Very well, sir." You see, Deadpool is currently working on one of the Avengers teams. Deadpool reminds Jarvis not to call him sir, and Jarvis responds with, "Very well, my dope-ass Fresh Prince. Damn straight." Sometime later, Deadpool finds Magneto and Sabertooth rescuing some civilians from a truck. Deadpool lines up a shot to take out Sabertooth, but with Magneto there, he may catch a bullet. So it's time for Plan B. Plan B is simple. Deadpool thought of it when he was arguing how he can kill Wolverine by decapitating him and soaking his head in acid, but someone else said that that was a stupid plan. Maybe it was Logan telling Deadpool that he couldn't kill him. Anyway, all he needed was a piano wire and someone to be riding really fast on a motorcycle and snap! Except Sabertooth's head now looks like a Pez dispenser. Glad Logan wasn't around to gloat about being right this time. But in the end, it doesn't matter because he remembers. He remembers what angered him about Sabertooth. He killed his family. Sabertooth gets right back up after having his head partially severed. And Deadpool tells him he's gonna do what Logan couldn't do. He's gonna finally put down Sabertooth. Deadpool swings in with his katana, slicing off the top of Sabertooth's head, and then Sabertooth slashes up and rips open Deadpool's chest. Deadpool begins to step back, and then Sabertooth throws Deadpool's katana right through him. Suddenly, the two stop as they hear a loud squeak, and they see a school bus full of kids is watching them. Deadpool tries to sing them a song, but just tells the kids, don't be like him and stay in school. The bus then begins to drive off, and Deadpool pulls his katana out and says, it's a girl! I'm gonna name her B. But right back to taking off Sabertooth's head. Deadpool tells him that his memory's not that great, but he needs to know something. What is it that he did to have Sabertooth murder his parents? And Sabertooth stops and asks, is that what you think happened? Sabertooth pushes Deadpool in front of a passing car, and Deadpool goes crashing through the windshield. The car continues to speed off, and Sabertooth falls to his knees, asking, how can't he remember that he killed his own father? Sabertooth remembers just like it happened the day before. Butler wiped out Deadpool's memory again, and Butler wanted Sabertooth to go with Deadpool on that night, the night where he was supposed to kill his father. Later, Magneto finds Sabertooth lying in the snow, and he tells him that he needs to end this thing between him and Deadpool now. Sabertooth tells him that there's something that he needs to do for him though, and Magneto tells him that they have more important things to attend to, like the extinction of their kind to the Terrigen Mist. So whatever you need to do, Sabertooth, you better do it fast. Elsewhere, the car that Deadpool landed on finally stopped, and the family was so happy that it was the real Deadpool that they decided to take a family picture. If you forgot, Deadpool's currently world famous. Deadpool gets back up and he begins to head back, and the young girl of the family asks if he needs a ride anywhere. He tells him no, but he does ask for a favor. Where's the worst place here? The place that her father wouldn't even go. And the young girl says, that's easy. The biker bar, Kaminsky's, a few miles down the road. But over at the bar already, Sabertooth is already there eating, and he tells the cook to put a few more steaks on. He's expecting some company soon. Later, Deadpool manages to reach the bar, and he and Sabertooth have dinner. Deadpool says the food is almost as bad as the reason that Sabertooth killed his parents. And Sabertooth tells him that it's just, he thought maybe he could finally kill him. Like, succeed where Logan failed. He wanted to provoke Deadpool to put him out of his misery. And Deadpool tells him he's still got to kill him though. So Sabertooth lashes out at Deadpool, telling him it's time to go outside. After Sabertooth sticks Deadpool with the bill, he's already getting away in his bike, and he tells Deadpool it's over. Do not follow him. Deadpool knocks another man off his bike, and that man tells Deadpool that that's his bike. Deadpool sits in the bike and says out loud, urge to kill, rising. So the man tells him to enjoy his new bike. Deadpool begins to chase after Sabertooth, telling him that he sucks worse than the band Creed. As Sabertooth rides next to a semi pulling some trees, he slashes the straps, causing them to fall into the road in front of Deadpool. Deadpool yells out that this isn't even his final form, and he jumps onto the moving truck. He then makes his way to the cab of the truck, and he continues to shoot at Sabertooth. Deadpool then mentions that they need to lose a little dead weight, and the truck driver jumps out saying, you're the boss, Spidey! While Deadpool jumps into the cab to control the truck, two helicopters start to fly over them, telling them both to pull over. But the helicopters get too close to each other, and they end up crashing into each other, and they fall into the woods. Sabertooth asks if they should just call a truce for now, and the two go back to rescue the people out of the helicopters. Once they get finished though, Sabertooth tells him that he's going to go get on his bike and go. But before that, Sabertooth extends his hand asking if Deadpool forgives him. Deadpool shakes his hand and tells him that he forgives him for his dad, and then he pulls out a gun shooting Sabertooth in the face. But he can't forgive him for his sweet old ma. As time passes, Sabertooth begins to wake up and he finds himself tied between a tree and a semi. Sabertooth tells him that pulling him apart won't kill him. And Deadpool tells him, no, that part is just for fun. However, this Terrigen Mist that I have is gonna kill you instead. As Deadpool begins to get things ready to kill Sabertooth, Sabertooth's eyes begin to roll back into his head, and soon he says, hi, it's Scott Adsit from The Office. Deadpool tells him, nice try, but how does he know he's the real Scott? What's his favorite album? Invisible Touch by Genesis. Deadpool tells him to get out of Sabertooth's head, I'm about to shoot it off. So Scott tells him that he's been trying to reach him for a while through Michael. He can't go through with this, he'll be making a terrible mistake. Deadpool begins to put the mask over Sabertooth's face, but Scott tells him that it was actually him who killed his own parents. He saw it when the Watcher's secrets were revealed in Original Sin. Check out that video. Scott goes on to state that he's not sure what he saw, but maybe it'll prevent this from happening. Deadpool sits back and he rips the mask off of Sabertooth's head. Scott's connection begins to fade and Sabertooth wakes up and begins to ask, what the hell just happened? Ah, never mind. You have to trust me on this, Deadpool. But Deadpool says, I know, I did it. I just wanted to take the burden off of you. What are a few more bodies on your account and another sworn enemy? I am surprised that you would come up with such a way for killing me though. So can you cut me down now? Deadpool will get him down for sure, just with the truck. But before he can drive, Deadpool sees Gandalf? Magneto begins tearing the truck to shreds, telling Sabertooth that he's disappointed. Bested by Deadpool, the worst Avenger. Sabertooth shoots the bullet from earlier out of his nose and he says, "I was just playing possum." Magneto takes the Terrigen container, and Sabertooth explains that Deadpool actually had it for research, because his daughter is a mutant, or at least she will be in a few years. Sabertooth frees Deadpool from his trap, and Magneto says that he didn't think there would be a good reason to not kill Deadpool. Deadpool then grabs Magneto and tells him he'll give him another, and then he begins to whisper in his ear. Magneto's eyes widen and he throws Deadpool onto the ground, telling him, "I'll hold you to that, so you better not cross me. But for now, good luck protecting your little girl." Sabertooth helps Deadpool back up, and Deadpool asks why he saved him from Magneto. And Sabertooth tells him it's something that Logan would have done. Also, I'm a sadist, so I'll be looking forward to doing this again when you forget. But before I go, I have some advice. Get some help, Deadpool. Deadpool lays down and thinks that maybe it is time to see a real doctor. So, he goes to visit Doctor Strange to make sure that all that happened was true. And Doctor Strange hands him a book with a hidden video in it. One Deadpool made to tell himself that it was true. He tells them that this is the first time that he'll actually be fully remembering everything. And as Deadpool looks at the tape, he throws it in the fire. Before leaving, Deadpool asks if Steve Rogers knows about this, but Doctor Strange tells him no. And Deadpool tells him, thanks for the whole doctor-patient confidentiality. Later, Deadpool heads back to the strip club to get the journal that he made Michael write out about Butler, but instead of reading it and learning more about his past, he just burns it. As he begins to leave, he tells Michael that if the Mountie comes looking for his horse, tell him that it'll be at the border crossing. And as Deadpool gets on his horse, he hears a voice telling him to halt. And that's when he sees the Canadian Mounties chasing him. And he rides off yelling to the Mounties to catch him if they can, going back to his usual Deadpool self. Now, immediately following this one, I believe Deadpool went into a Civil War II crossover, so we'll get to that eventually. So don't forget to check it out in the comics yourself right now, and follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian and Instagram at Comicstorian. I'll see you guys next time right here.